to that Good Experience podcast,
where related minds
talk about related topics.
And we all just happen to be related. Buckle up, this is going to be a good one.
We've got that good
experience
podcast.
I live in top of hip hop. This is hip hop of today. I give props to hip hop, so hip hop parade. Hey ho, hey ho, hey ho, hey ho. Hip hop parade. Ho, hey ho, hey ho, hey ho.
And welcome again, ladies and gentlemen, for another round of the We Got the Good Experience podcast, where related minds talk about related topics, and we all just happen to be related. Hello again, I'm Marcus Moses. I'm back with you for the guys with the ride, and I can't do this without my cousin co-host Kimmy. What's going on,
Marcus, darling? How's the hip hop family doing today? Happy 50th anniversary again, part 2.
Part 2 indeed. I can't do this without my cousin co-host Mr. Byron B. Note Brown. What's going on, man?
What's up, Marcus? What's up, Kimmy? Round 2 of this fabulous celebration of hip hop. I'm ready to go. Let's get it going.
Let's get it going, Dean. Like they just emphasized that we are doing part 2 of our celebration on the 50th anniversary of hip hop. We did part 1 last episode, and so it was so much to dig, so much to go through that we just couldn't just stop with 1 episode. We got to do 2, and we might just do 3. Who knows? But however, we're doing part 2 right now, so I can't think of nothing but to get into it. What do you guys think?
Ain't nothing to it
but to do it.
All right. By the way, what you just heard to start off this episode was Hip Hop Parade by none other than Naughty by Nature, Vinny Tretch, and those guys from New Jersey, and a guy
Jersey. From
Jersey. Can't deny the contribution that Naughty by Nature has contributed to the hip hop culture. So many hit records, lots of lyricism to their style of rap. You just love Naughty by Nature. Mm-hmm. So big shout out to those guys. Let's get it started, Kim.
All right. First up, of course, we can't have the 50th hip hop anniversary episode, part 2, without some Run DMC. And we got some You Be Illin'.
You want a ticket to see Dr. J? Front row seat, no pay. Radio in hand, snacks by feet. Game's about to start, you kicking popcorn to the beat. You finally wake up, Doc's gone to town. Round his back, through the hoop, then you scream, touchdown! You be illin'. You be illin'. You be illin'. Don't you tell that kid, you be illin'.
All right.
I was chilling at
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Why did you put that one?
I don't know why.
This was such a fun song to sing back in the day. It was like one of the easier rap songs to learn to.
It really was. And it was also the 3rd single released by Run DMC from their 3rd album, Raising Hell. It was released in 1986 through Profile Records as a follow-up to the crossover hit Walk This Way with them and who was the group? I almost said Motley Crue. Aerosmith, yes. This record hit number 29 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, number 12 on the Hot Black Singles, number 44 on the Hot Dance Club Play. And like Byron said, just such a fun song to groove to. And then that's the reason why I picked it. What do you guys think?
How can you go wrong with some Run DMC? They are the godfathers of hip hop. Goodness.
Yeah. Number 1 duo, number 1 group. Well, we had that discussion last week. Was the Fugees bigger or was Run DMC bigger? I think Fugees had a yeah.
Okay.
the last episode, there was kind of like a little discussion. The Fugees had a huge album, but as far as longevity with back-to-back hits, Run DMC, of course, eclipsed the Fugees, I think, in my opinion.
You're right.
That's too easy. I mean, I can't believe they had a discussion. I'm sorry, Kim.
I know, me too. I'm like, did we really talk about that?
Yeah, we talked about their score, how huge it was, and how well it sold worldwide. And I said, well, I brought up it could be the top selling group album, hip hop, hip hop group album may have eclipsed Run DMC. Any of their albums, however, Run DMC has had back to back albums that have sold very well.
Run DMC wins that over with longevity.
Yeah.
Fugees weren't able to keep that going because, like you said, of issues within the group.
Yeah.
Right. I remember now. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And we'll leave it at that.
Yeah, this is a relatable song. It was funny. Yeah. You could relate to people illin', so hey.
It is what it is.
People be illin', they still be illin'.
They still be illin'.
Still.
Hey, what's next, Kim?
All right, next up is Beastie Boys, Paul Revere.
Now, here's a little story I got to tell about three bad brothers you know so well. It started way back in history with that Rob and me. My team. Been had a little horsey named Paul Revere. Just me and my horsey in a quart of beer. Riding across the land, kicking up sand. Sharing spices on my tail cause I'm in demand. One lonely beastie I be. All by myself without nobody. The sun is beating down on my baseball hat. The air is getting hot, the beer is getting flat. Looking for a girl, I ran into a guy. His name is MCA. I said howdy, he said hi.
Yes.
I love that.
My favorite song, by the way, by Beastie Boys.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't like Intergalactic?
I like Intergalactic.
I like it, but that's not my favorite song by them.
And what also comes to mind is Brass Monkey.
Brass Monkey.
Monkey.
Which was on the same album, but Brass Monkey was not my favorite. Paul Revere was my favorite. I think it was the bass.
The bass, yeah.
The bass, definitely.
The scratch.
And the flow over it. It was simple. It was easy song. Another easy song to learn.
Yeah. Also, it was a song by an American hip-hop group, Beastie Boys, released as their third single from their debut album, License to Ill. It was written by Rick Rubin as well as Daryl McDaniels, DMC from Run DMC. It tells a fictional story of how the Beastie Boys met. Chart-wise, it hit number 41 on the Hot Dance Club Play and number 34 on the Hot R&B and Hip-Hop Songs. And also, before we go further, we got to say rest in peace to MCA from the group, passed away several years ago. Rest in peace to him. And Byron's already said this was his favorite song by the Beastie Boys. What do you think, Kim?
Well, I already said mine. When I think of Beastie Boys, I think of Intergalactic, which was my favorite. Plus, that one really crossed over. And everyone kind of knew who the Beastie Boys were after Intergalactic. But when I hear Beastie Boys, like I said, I think about Brass Monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Beastie Boys, they were kind of riding the borderline to me of hip hop and rock. Yeah, me, they were.
Yeah.
They kind of.
And it was genius on Russell Simmons' behalf to get them. It was genius. Yeah. That's the first time where they actually said, wait a minute, we can market this on the pop side with some guys that may look a little bit more poppy in certain aspects.
Yeah.
And the white kids ate them up because I just remember being on the school bus and it was like a party almost every day when this album was out and they would play it. And they knew every word. I'd just be sitting and looking. I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
You say sorry.
You said what? Huh?
What were you saying?
I said, all right. Okay. I said, I got to get up to speed because this was like before I really started checking for them. Like they were fairly new, I knew who they were, but I wasn't really riding with them like that. But they would turn up. They were turning up. Brass Monkey, Paul Revere. Well, Paul Revere, that struck with me the first time I heard it and stuck with me. But yeah, it was just kind of interesting just seeing them turn up and sing or rap to every word. So they definitely relating to this group.
Absolutely. And like you said, as we celebrate 50 years of hip hop, it's only fair that we give them their flowers for their contribution.
Major contribution.
You can't take away what's etched in stone. And again, their contribution is definitely etched in stone. So hey,
their second album, Paul Boutique, that was a great album too.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's next, Kim?
Next up, Again, we cannot have the 50th anniversary of hip hop without some Curtis Blow. And these are the breaks.
Break it up, break it up, break it up.
Step out with another man, and she runs off to them to Japan. And the IRS says they want to chat, and you can't explain why you claimed your cat. And Ma Bell sends you a whopping bill with 18 phone calls to Brazil. And you borrowed money from the mob, and yesterday you lost your job. Well, these are the breaks. Break it up, break it up, break it up.
What's up, people? You know you love the breaks, right?
That's right.
I believe.
Yeah. That's the original party starter. The Breaks is a 1980 single by American rapper Curtis Blow from his self-titled debut album. It peaked at number 87 on the Billboard Hot 100. And it was the first certified gold rap song, the second certified gold 12-inch single. And in 2008, it was ranked at number 10 on VH1's greatest hip hop songs. It went to number 4 on the Hot Souls singles chart of Billboard as well. And it was number 9 on the U.S. Billboard National Disco Top 100. I will say I've had the opportunity of meeting Curtis Blow. He's very charismatic and very down to earth. What do you all have to say about this artist and this song?
A classic. Talking about, it kind of reminds me of the Good Time song, like talking about
Keep your head
life
up.
in the hood. You know,
That's how life goes.
exactly.
You know what, though? To me, with the production of it, you think about how hip hop started, with the Sugar Hill Gang, just kind of trying to I guess they were just doing something just to be doing something. And then Grandmaster Flash, trying to get a message across. I think Curtis Blow actually made hip hop fun. I think that was his attempt with a lot of his music. It's just to make hip hop not just a platform to get a message across, but to make it fun, to make it to where, we could dance to it. We could just kind of just do our own thing and be free and whatnot. Even though he was talking about the breaks and like you mentioned, the Good Times song, when you think about good times, you think about hard times, but at the same time with the production of it, you could just have fun with it. And that's what I think about this particular track. This and Basketball. I love both of them.
Yeah, I think that's why Curtis Blow was so popular, because he was so relatable. Like you said, from Basketball, If I Rule the World, the Christmas rapping, If I Rule the World, he talked to the aspirations of us all, how we would envision and dream. And looking at him, he made it seem possible for anyone to achieve. He was just an everyday guy.
Absolutely.
Still is. He's still cool.
He's still out there doing his thing.
Touring.
He's getting he's still touring, but he's been having some health issues past couple of years. So keep him in prayer.
Well, the last time I saw him, he had just gotten over the most recent health issue, and I saw him at Hip Hop Nutcracker. He's been participating with that, and so it was great to see him. So he's mad cool.
That's what's up. What's next, Kim?
Next up, some Cool Mo D. How you like me now?
Funky.
I throw my tape on, then I watch you 3 seconds later. I got you shaking your head, dancing instead of sitting. The rhymes kick, the beats hitting you just like a home run, slamming like a slam dunk. Ride the wave, James Brown, gay funk. It happened to James like it happened to me. How you think it feel to see another MC get paid? Using my rap style, and I'm playing the background. Meanwhile, I ain't with that. You can't forget that. You took my style. I'm taking it back, coming back like Return of the Jedi. Sucker MCs in the place that said I could only rock rhyme and only rock crowds, but never rock records. How you like me now? How you like me now?
Yes. How you like me now? How you like me now? Tell me. How you like me now?
Yeah, yo.
Hey, this song always makes me move, makes me smile. It's something about the groove of this track. It's a song by American rapper Kool Moe Dee. It was released in 1987. It's the first single from his second studio album of the same name, produced and written in collaboration with Teddy Riley. And the song is a diss track to rival rapper LL Cool J. The song became Kool Moe Dee's first to appear on the Billboard Hot R&B and Hip Hop Songs. It peaked at number 22 in January of 1988 and stayed on the charts for 18 weeks. It also peaked number 86 on the UK singles chart. How You Like Me Now was number 31 on the VH1's 100 Greatest Songs of Hip Hop list. And the album cover, do you remember the album cover for How You Like Me Now?
I do not.
I do not.
So if you can take a look at the album cover, you'll see something subliminal. He's standing in front of a Jeep. And underneath the wheel of the Jeep is a Kango, a red Kango.
Oh, I never knew.
Genius.
Yes. So this is like a classic example of some of the beefs that were happening around the time, and they didn't fight or anything like that. They would just take it out on a mic and issue these diss records that were just so fun and ingenious to listen to and dance to. What do you all have to say about this one?
If you would have asked back in maybe around 1987, 9-year-old Marcus Moses who his favorite rapper was, I would have easily said Kool Moe Dee. Kool Moe Dee, his delivery and a lot of his production of his songs was just so hard to me. Now, I like this track, but I love Work and I love Wild Wild West.
Wild Wild West.
Wild West.
Kool Moe Dee was just the junk back then, man. It was just something about his voice just did something to me. It was just like every line was like a fist hitting you in the face or something like that, man. It was just so hard. It was just so raw. It was just, you know what I mean? I just loved it, man, you know.
It was like what, Marcus?
But I'm glad that you said that. We were talking about Big Daddy Kane last week, and his voice kind of reminds me of Big Daddy Kane, but it's more raw, like you said, without the smoothness of Big Daddy Kane.
But it's a sharp, crisp sound voice. You know, it's a signature sound. You immediately know who he is. He doesn't sound like anyone else.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say that, Byron. His style couldn't be duplicated. Even if you tried, it would still be great value. The great value.
Great value. This just reminds me of something. Anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, definitely. Kool Moe Dee. I'm glad you picked that one, Byron, to say the least. I mean, Kool Moe Dee was just the man. He still is to me to this day.
And the choreography from this video, that was off the chain. That routine they were doing toward the beginning.
Oh yeah. What's next, Kim?
Next up, Stetsasonic, talking all that jazz.
Ooh.
Good one.
Lies, that's when you hide the truth. It's when you talk more jazz than proof, and when you lie and address something you don't know.
It's so whack that it's bound to show.
When you lie about me and the band, we get angry. Whip out our pen, start writing again. And the things we write are always true, sucker. Just get a grip, now we talking about you. Seems to me that you have a problem, so we can see what we can do to solve them.
Think rap is a fad? You must be mad, cause we're so bad we get respect you never had.
Tell the truth, James Brown was old. Tell Eric and Rock came out with I Got Soul.
Rap brings back old R&B, and if we would not, people could have forgotten.
We want to make this perfectly clear. We're talented and strong and have no fear
of those who choose to judge but lack pizzazz.
Talking all that jazz.
Talking all that jazz.
Good one.
Yes, indeed. Talking all that jazz by American hip hop group Stetsasonic. This band was formed in 1981 in Brooklyn, New York. And Talking All That Jazz comes from their debut album released in December of 1986 called On Fire. This track peaked at number 22 on the U.S. dance charts, number 34 on the U.S. R&B charts, and 87 in Australia, 73 in the UK. And this album that it came from, On Fire, was one of the first rap albums to combine live band instrumentation with traditional hip hop production. What do you all have to say about this one?
I think Like you said, I believe this may be the first hip hop song that actually incorporated jazz into the mix, and it sounded perfect. It just blends these two genres together, and it just made it just so smooth, and you automatically are bopping your head when you hear this.
Yeah.
Yes, it did.
I'm curious to know what the relationship between these guys and Eric B. Rakim, because to me, this song sounds a lot like "Don't Sweat the Technique."
Mm, mm.
I'm just curious to know what the relationship is between these two guys, if they even know each other. They just sound kind of similar. Of course, Eric B. and Rakim, they had more success. However, this particular record, I remember watching the video for it at my grandma's house because we had no cable in the country. But anyway, I remember watching the video for this, and it was pretty cool. I just remember listening to the bass in the background and stuff like this. I thought
bass is kicking.
Yes.
yeah, so cool, just so mellow, and just the delivery was just so good. It was like a perfect blend of hip hop and jazz.
Yep,
so,
they were the ones
Yeah.
that pioneered it. One of the members went on to produce De La Soul.
I should have known.
Yeah, Prince
Shoulda
Paul.
known.
Yeah, and Prince Paul and Fruit Quan, they were founding members of Gravediggers. So
great.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and Daddy-O, he also went on a solo career while working as a record producer, producing Freestyle Worship, Mary J. Blige, Positive K, and the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Cool.
Yeah, so yeah, even Shannon, the Cookie Crew, you all remember those acts, right?
Mhm.
They were all touched by members of Stetson Sonic.
You mean Shannon let the music play, Shannon? Oh,
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I used to love that song. We had to do an episode from that era because
Yeah.
there was a lot of good music.
Shannon had a couple of hits, but not
Yeah.
just music. But
There
give me
was
the
one
night.
summer. That's all you heard was Shannon. That's all you heard.
Yeah.
And it's all different songs.
Yeah. What's next, Cam?
Next up, Roxanne Shante, Big Mama.
Here we go.
Buckle up.
Mama,
I gave birth to most of them. The real queen's in effect. Whenever I come, I come correct. And you can give me the utmost due respect. And any hate to try to last, I'll go get smoked like marijuana, cause I ass grass. I dig ditches for you bitches while I collect riches and give you a head full of stitches. Cause in a beef I don't sleep or lollygag. Sending your hands off stage in a body bag. Cause Shantae is a rebel. You say your light is a rock, you get crushed like a pebble. One word and I'm a bagger. Watch the shit dagger, cause I don't dig the bull dagger. To me, a butch don't deserve a mic in hand. Somebody tell her to stop acting like a man. She needs something real thick to help her out quick. And that's a good piece of it.
Well, dang.
Yeah.
Well,
That part.
Yeah.
yeah, clutch the pearls.
Okay. Let's
No one was exempt in this song. No female rapper was exempt in this one.
I know.
So check it out. Let's get to the tidbits, and we're gonna break this one down. Of course, that was Roxanne Shante with Big Mama from her second and final album, The B Is Back. It was released in 1992 on Cold Chillin' Records. And the song speaks for itself. We were talking about earlier about different beats between Kool Moe Dee and LL Cool J. First and foremost, Roxanne Shante was one of the first, if not the first, female MC of hip hop. I said one of the first, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because Shy Rock was actually.
Shy Rock, yeah.
Yeah. But I think Shante was one of the first ones to actually have some success.
Solo female. Because
Right.
Sequence.
So,
I think that was it. Sequence. What was the group that Angie Stone was part of?
I think you're right. The hip hop group or the
hip-hop
R&B group. I don't remember the hip hop group. I remember her R&B group. Seems to get you busy for me.
Yeah, you're talking about Vertical Hold.
Yeah. I love this song, by the way. But anyway, Roxanne Shante, she was one of the original female hip hop artists to have success. This song came out back in the 90s when you started to see more female rappers, the likes of Latifah, MC Lyte, Moni Love, Yo-Yo, just to name a few. And she did not hold back any punches.
None.
There was nothing subliminal in this song.
Mm-mm. She called them directly out.
She called names,
Mm-hmm.
and she went in.
All the way in.
all the way in, which is what I love about this song. Y'all know I like a little pettiness, and that's why I love this song. Like, she didn't bite back down. She didn't bite. However, she didn't have a lot of success, this name, because those rappers, the aforementioned rappers that I mentioned before, went on to have great success and great careers. But she let them know, look, one of my favorite parts of the song, like, I gave birth to most of those MCs. Do you guys agree or not?
I agree. I would just say,
Go ahead.
she built the platform.
Mhm.
So, in other words, that's like giving birth to them. I mean, she paved the way for them. So, yeah.
I'll say she was the prototype. Shyrock was the first, but Shantae is the one who was starting to get some success. So Shantae was kind of the prototype, and everyone kind of built off of that. Like we said last week, there's a difference between biting off of somebody and being influenced by somebody. And they were these artists like Queen Latifah and Monie Love, they were influenced by Shantae, but they all had their own style.
Yeah. So Byron, do you know why did Shantae feel like she had to go after these particular females at the time? I'm not sure.
I think by that time she was probably a little disgruntled with where her career was.
Yeah.
And she saw these other acts having all of this major crossover success. And at that particular time, you'd be a sellout if you went R&B, what they call going R&B, influencing all of these elements that were outside of the standard James Brown type of stuff. That was a transition of hip hop at that time. So there's a line in the song where she's calling out Queen Latifah for going R&B, and you know, because by 92, Queen Latifah had definitely switched up her style altogether. You know, she was graduated to something bigger and better.
And that's okay. But when I think that goes back to some of the thinking in the hood that you have to stay in that place in order to be legitimate, and it's okay for you to grow, and growth is good. And I think that's just part of, like you said, Shantae being kind of disgruntled. Also, around that time, if that was in the 90s, there was a lot of beef rap out there going back and forth. So I think that was kind of in. So she thought that this would actually help her career.
But if you think about it, Shantae came in the game calling out people. Do you remember?
She did.
That's her niche, and she would do it off the top of her dome.
Because she sure enough did, because she did it with
Roxanne's Revenge. I'm sorry,
Roxanne's Revenge.
Yeah,
and she was going after Dougie Fresh and them. You're right.
And she goes off on JJ Fad. She clowns them.
She called everybody
clowns them.
Yeah, but real quick before we go into the next one, guys, your top 2 female MCs of all time.
Top 2:
Lauryn Hill and the Queen. Yeah.
Mm.
And we're not talking about success and longevity. I'm talking about lyricists.
Lyricists. That's what. Thank you for clarifying it, Kim.
Okay, so I would say MC Lyte and Shantae. I would say Shantae and MC Lyte, because Lauryn Hill, we didn't hear enough from her.
Yeah.
We didn't hear enough, even though she's solid and she sings and everything. But when you talk about lyricists as a MC, I would have to give it to MC Lyte and Roxanne Shantae.
I disagree. If you in Fugees and in her last album, her debut album, you heard her lyricism.
You hear it, but
only so little of it, though. We don't get
enough of it.
Yeah.
You don't get enough. To me, that's just
definitely we didn't
just
get
that little snapshot. That's all we get. But if you look at it from a standpoint of longevity and who could truly contributed to the craft, then MC Lyte always registered. She was like in your face, and she brought it like a guy, like a dude to me. And it was more like a battle style of a rap. And I just always loved how she formed her words, how she expressed herself. She seemed to have a lot to say.
Yeah. Now, real quick before we go further, we heard the song with Lauryn Hill and Nas, and I listened to her verse, and her verse was solid. And I can only say to myself, like, why do you give us more of this back in the 90s? You know what I mean?
I know there's a long discussion about what happened with Lauryn Hill, and for the most part. It was some people, once they get into the record industry or the music industry and they see what it's really about, they realize they don't really want no parts of it.
Yeah, I think what she got into those legal issues around that album and just saw how people could quickly turn on her and whatever. I think that turned her off. She probably had PTSD from all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Literally a mental break, you know?
Yeah.
I think what happened to Lauryn Hill is what Shantae was saying in the last line of that clip, which she said about like, she got it. What's next, Kim? Y'all missed that whole thing.
I know, right? Huh?
You talking about from our clip or from the actual song?
From the song. I mean, we played the clip, you know, and Shantae was saying what MC Lyte needed a good heart.
You know what? Go sit down in the corner over there.
I'm like, huh? Did we play it?
Face the wall when you sit down.
And be quiet for the next 5 minutes.
Well, obviously, guys, I'm in a timeout. So what's next, Kim?
I'm like, what? Okay. Next up, Queen Latifah, Coming to My House.
It's a new fusion I'm using. You ask, what is it I'm doing? Hip hop house, hip hop jazz, with a little pizzazz from the queen of royal badness. Remember me from Wrath of My Madness? It's my rap that rocks this party. I'm a hijack and jack your body. This is not an erotic interlude. Keep in mind, I move multitudes. The Asiatic black woman, hardcore beat drumming. It's hard to keep a good woman down, so I keep coming. Blow for blow, I take and I give some. Still I rise and I symbolize wisdom. I hope the lyrical display has you around. It's an open invitation. Come into my house. Don't make me wait. Come into my house. Give me body. Don't make me wait. Come into my house. I want you to give me body. Don't make me wait. Come into my house. I know you're there. Give me body.
That was my joint.
Give me body.
So this is a true classic in house music and hip hop. And this is from her debut album, All Hail the Queen, which came out in late 89. And this is actually the second single, which was actually released in the early 90s. Now, I could have picked a slew of songs from Queen Latifah. I could have done UNITY, but I felt that was too on the nose. I wanted something from back in the day that not many people may have known about. And this was my joint. I used to love this song.
I think this is my favorite song by Queen Latifah. Not just because it's house. Not just because of that, but that's a main part too. But just because it just showed a different light. She brought that party vibe and she still had that regalness about her, how she delivered the song at the time. And yeah, I loved it.
And I think this is what Shantae was talking about. She was crossing over and doing some house music and R&B, but she, like I said, it's called growth. We
were there for it. Hey, Marcus.
You can speak now.
Are you sure?
I'm not sure, but go ahead.
Nah, you know, I love Latifah. I think she did, what we were expecting Lauryn Hill to do, to kind of give us that balance between the hip hop and the R&B. And I think Latifah was able to do that. You know, I'm like you, Kim. I like some of her early stuff. I also like Latifah, I Can Hide It. You know, I like that one. I like that joint too. But it was just something about her, the fact that she was young when she came to the game, and she just looked so much more growner than what she actually was.
Regal. She had regalness about her.
She always did.
She really did. And so I love this joint. I love everything Queen Latifah did, to say the least. And it's just amazing to see her growth over years, how she evolved from a hip hop artist to an R&B, also an R&B artist, into now a full blown actress. You know,
exactly.
Businesswoman too, entrepreneur,
award-winning actress. She's flying up Newark. I mean, this goes back to what we were saying about growth, and she was able to transcend where she started from. You know, now she's an award-winning actress and business owner, and don't forget she also had a record company,
Flavor Unit. I was about to say that.
that put out some of the best hip hop and
R&B.
changed the genre pretty much. So
Zhané, she's the one that brought Zhané to us.
She sure enough did. So give all props to the queen. You better bow to her.
Kersey, yes.
Yeah. All hail the queen. What's next?
All hail the queen. Yeah. Next up is her homegirl, Monie Love, with Monie in the Middle.
In seventh, the knucklehead walks in and sits down beside me. I said, yo, why you trying to rob me? Day in, day out, I can't seem to get you off my back. What do you think that I should do about that? In fact, it's embarrassing. What a buffoon. You even follow me in the ladies' bathroom. Give me a break, I can't take it. The stakes are too high. Besides, there goes the other brother. I'm not cute sweat, so don't sweat me. The other brother's smooth approach is what gets me. He intrigues the more you know, so I suggest the course towards me you blow. You're wasting time pursuing Monie, cause she's pursuing the lover only. And as my mother did, she told me, go for what you know, Mo. Yo, Monie in the middle, in the middle, yeah, Monie's in the middle, in the middle, Monie in the middle, in the middle, yeah, Monie in the middle, Monie in the middle, in the middle, yeah, Monie in the middle, in the middle, Monie in the middle, in the middle, yeah, Monie in the middle.
Monie in the middle. In the middle. Monie in the middle.
Where's she at?
Monie always had the flow to be from Britain. She was in touch with the culture, and that came from her having to move to the United States for a short period of time, family reasons or whatever, and getting exposed to the right people. MC Lyte was her classmate, as a matter of fact.
All right.
So they traveled in the same group. Monie Love is a British rapper, actress, and radio personality known for her singles, of course, in the late 80s through the 90s. She's currently a radio personality at Kiss 104 in Atlanta, by the way. She's a 2-time Grammy Award nominee, making her the first British female hip-hop artist to hold that distinction. Monie in the Middle comes from her debut album, Down to Earth, which was released in 1990. And it's one of those songs that just sticks with you. Believe it or not, Monie in the Middle, as popular as it was, doesn't really have any strong charting information. It really...
What?
Yeah, believe it or not. Her second single, It's a Shame My Sister, became her only top 40 hit in the U.S. and peaked at number 26. Monie in the Middle, both singles, I should say, and her song Down to Earth were both successful on the R&B hip hop charts, but there's not really any specific information about how well the song did at the time. I just know it was in heavy rotation.
Yeah, Monie in the Middle was all over the radio
Exactly.
waves.
So
I have no idea how there's not no chart information on that. But we've had this discussion before, though.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
We've had this discussion before how a lot of songs were played in rotation a lot, but didn't really get the chart treatment that it deserved. But, nevertheless, it did well enough to make our countdown on this particular episode, to say the least. Is it safe to say, back in the day, back in the 60s, 50s, 60s, the British invasion that came for rock and roll, did hip hop kind of have like its own little mini British invasion with Monie Love, not Dougie Fresh, Slick Rick, and like Damien Dame? He wasn't from England, or was he?
No, he was not.
No, he wasn't. If you look at it from that standpoint, you could say that, but I think that's happening now because the British hip hop movement is like exploding. They're having their moment right now.
Yeah, 21 Savage.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 21 Savage is like the spearhead to me, is the spearhead of that movement. But yeah, Great Britain, there's no secret that, the people of England, they love not just hip hop, they love black music, period. They love blues, they love hip hop, they love R&B, they love everything that we do. So, it's just amazing just to see how hip hop and, our music influences people worldwide.
I have a good question.
Mm-hmm.
How old were you when you realized that there was a huge African descendant population in Great Britain?
I was very young. I think I was like maybe 9 or 10 years old, something like that.
I guess.
Maybe like 16 or 17, maybe.
Okay. I was just curious because like back in the day when you started hearing like Soul to Soul and Monie Love and Slick Rick, and we were like, wait a minute, they're from Great Britain. There's a bunch of us there, but it's huge.
Because Karen Wheeler, she was part of this group that sang backup for a lot of these rock groups and they were always Elvis Costello. Case in point, Every Day I Write the Book. I don't know if you all have seen that video.
Yes, I know that song.
So she's in that one. Yeah. So I was like, okay, black people in England or whatever. Not that was unusual to me. It wasn't, but yeah, I knew that then. I wanted to add about Monie Love, how she was marketed. And you all may not be aware of this, but from the DJ culture side of things, her stuff was always remixed for like the house clubs. In the UK, that was a big thing. So if you run across any of her 12 inches, you always saw house remixes of her songs.
Okay.
She was like one of the few hip hop artists to do that. Queen Latifah, started doing that, and other native tongue artists would get it occasionally, but she was always marketed that way.
I still can't believe Lisa Stansfield was white.
that blue-eyed soul.
Yeah.
Next up is JJ Fad, Supersonic.
You see the S is for super, and the U is for unique. The P is for perfection, and you know that we are freaks. The E is for exotic, and the R is for rap. So tell those nosy people just to stay the hell back. Supersonic. The big everlasting ears. Supersonic. They can hear what I say faster than I can say. Supersonic. They better chill. It's like you can't have words. Hit it, OG. I'm light-skinned, devastated, no one thing educated. That's the rockers, they all fake. I take your man and your mate. I'm always rapping, always capping. Everybody say I'm happy. If you try to handle me, you should find it yours. I'm always rocking, never stopping, devastating. Rapping lady when I'm on a microphone. I see that all you educated, breaking with the death of everybody say I'm different than the other angel lover. Everybody know I'm covered. Clientele. Everybody know angel. To the beat so you can tell. Everybody know you feel. I'm a number, I'm 7, I'm a Newman, I'm 11, I'm a 7, I'm a devil, I'm a number, I'm a demon, I'm a summon, I'm a doing, I'm 11, I'm a semen, I'm a doing, I'm a humming. Yeah. That was it. That's it.
That was it.
Yeah, you ain't say nothing. That was gibberish. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
As Shantae would say,
I just texted y'all the lyrics because I was
Oh my gosh!
And those are the lyrics to the last couple of bars. Hold on 1 second. Let me pull it up.
They let that junk go. No.
No. Lama lama do my lama sama lama lama do lama 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 sama lama 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 do. Those are the actual lyrics.
I'm mad at y'all. I'm mad. Oh my god, y'all let that junk.
It was catchy.
Okay, so pretty much it just sounds like she couldn't rap as fast as the other girls, so she just made up some words.
I loved it though.
And
I had to tell them. I told them this directly.
Like,
I told them this directly on Twitter. I said, "You guys," and I put those lyrics in there. I said, I said, "You guys were a vibe. You brought a nice, fresh view of hip hop. That was a great contribution."
It definitely was. Real quick, JJ Fad, the American female rap group from Rialto, California. The name was an acronym of the original group members given names Juana, Juanita, Fatima, Anna, and Dana. But when the lineup changed, the tradition developed that it was still just jamming, fresh, and def. The group was backed by DJ Tran. This particular song, Supersonic, reached number 30 on the U.S. Billboard Hot 100, number 22 on the Hot Black Singles, number 10 on the Hot Dance Club Play, and number 1 on the Canadian Dance and Urban charts. So this song has so much impact on the hip hop culture that even my daughter, who's 9 years old, likes the song, believe it or not. So sometimes we'll watch the old VH1, I think VH1 Soul or something like that, or whatever program that comes on, and Supersonic come on and she'll be singing with me, Supersonic, So big ups to JJ Fad. This was probably their biggest hit to date, but however, it left a mark. Sama lama duma lama 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 lama.
All I'm gonna say is they are a part of hip hop culture, and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, and they're on tour. They're on that tour, the hip hop tour. So they are still together and doing their thing. It was a vibe. I'll just say it was a vibe. I love their image. It was a fresh, different image for hip hop. West Coast.
It wasn't a bite off of Salt and Pepper.
Mm-mm.
Definitely wasn't.
No, they were fun to watch though. I love the chemistry that they have and had or still have or whatever, and they were just fun to watch.
Yeah, great dance moves as well.
Yeah.
What's next, Kim?
And a llama llama ding dong. Next up is MC Shan, The Bridge.
Why don't you wise up, show all the people in the place that you are bright?
jam that you do not start no fight. Cause that is one thing that we all must see done. And if you start some issues, your ass had better run. Cause you're in
The bridge. The bridge. The bridge. The bridge. The bridge.
Now, this is a classic 1986 jam celebrating Queensbridge, which is the home of the Juice Crew and Roxanne Shante and Nas. And Marley Marl chops the Impeach the President drums, one of the first uses of this technique. And Shan shouts out some Queensbridge pioneers. But you know what this caused? This song was key in launching the career of Boogie Down Productions, and with their beef, where KRS and crew took exception to the idea that hip hop starts in Queens, even though Shan doesn't quite make that claim here, and responded with South Bronx. Want to hear it?
Please do.
Many people tell me this style is terrific. It is kind of different, but let's get specific. KRS-One specialize in music. I'll only use this type of style when I choose it. Party people in the place to be. KRS-One attacked. You got dropped off MCA cause the rhymes you wrote was whack. So you think that hip-hop had its start out in Queensbridge? If you pop that junk up in the Bronx, you might not live, cause you're in
South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx, the South Bronx, South Bronx, the South Bronx.
Now, this was released in 1987 on Boogie Down Productions' first album. Well, not the first album, their album Criminal Minded. And this is by KRS-One and was also produced by DJ Scott LaRock. And it's actually written by D-Nice, Scott LaRock, and KRS-One. And the song's title references New York's South Bronx area and its representative anthem of their city. The song serves as a diss track aimed at MC Shan for his song, The Bridge, that we just played. And it kicked off their little war against each other, their battle, not war as in any guns or anything was in it, but it was just going back and forth about who was the originators of hip hop.
KRS-One, the professor of hip hop.
Professor, you better listen. Because I was going to play My Philosophy, which is my favorite, but I felt that we need to do some history about these two.
So let me ask a question. I thought The Bridge is Dead was...
The Bridge is Over. That's another one.
Yeah, The Bridge is Over was its response to that particular track.
But this was definitely the response to that track, but he just kept going.
He just kept going. Okay.
He just kept going. He wasn't done.
Yeah. KRS-One, man, I didn't understand him at first, but like as I grew older and started listening to him more, he was trying to
educating you.
Yeah, he was trying to feed us knowledge. That was his purpose in life, and I'm just so thankful for him for using this particular platform to try to educate young Black people as far as like things that we needed to know, especially during that time. And so, yeah, definitely KRS-One is one of a true pioneer of hip hop.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely.
I agree.
MC Shan is still out there trying to start issues for some reason, but KRS-One with everyone, he's been posting up a lot of nonsensical things about different artists and stuff, and people are just kind of telling him, please sit your old behind down somewhere. But it's out there. If you want to go look it up, just put his name up, you'll see it. But bottom line, KRS-One is still out there trying to educate the people, period.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. What's next, Cam?
Next up, Junior Mafia and Get Money. We're going to continue this beef rap section.
Damn, why she wanna stick me for my paper? My Moschino hole, my Versace hottie. Come to find out, he was hitting everybody. He knew about me, the fake ID. Cases in Virginia, body in DC. Won't always be, that's what I get for tricking. Came out on bail, commenced to ass kicking. Licking the door, waving the 4-4. Or you heard a copper, don't hit me no more. Disrespect my clique, my game's imperial. Mess around and made a milk box material. You feel me? Stealing chips, running your lips. Cause of you, I'm on
Yes, so Get Money is from the rap group Junior Mafia, who features who?
Lil Kim.
And the Notorious B.I.G. and Little Cease.
Little Cease.
Right. So this was released as the third and final single from their debut album, Conspiracy, which came out in 1995. And Get Money, whose instrumental is fundamentally a sample of R&B singer Sylvia Striplin's 1981 song, You Can't Turn Me Away. So, of course, this was actually used by another famous rapper when they started really beefing really hard, and their beef kind of took a very violent turn. But this was with Tupac, and their song was Hit 'Em Up. Want to hear it? Here it go.
Uh-oh. Go ask your homie how I leave you, cut your young hands up, leave you in pieces, now be deceased. Lil' Kim, don't around with real cheese, quick to snatch your ugly ass off the streets. So peace, I let them know it's on for life. Don't let the west side ride the night. Bad boy, get your caps peeled, you know, see, grab your when you see Tupac. Call the cops when you see Tupac. Who shot me, but your pumps didn't finish, now you're about to feel the wrath of a menace.
Man, he was mad. Anyway, Hit 'Em Up is the diss track by rapper Tupac featuring the Outlaws. It is the B-side to the single How Do You Want It, released June 4th, 1996. And the song's lyrics contains vicious insults to several East Coast rappers, chiefly Shakur's former friend turned rival, the B.I.G. And we're not even going to go into how it all started. I don't even want to. We just know how it ended. And this is when beef and battle rapping just took a totally different conclusion.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't checking for that beef. It was just too much. It was a bit much and unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
You know, you got to think about it. Biggie and Pac, one of the only two people that lost their lives because of this particular beef. You think about East Coast, West Coast, a lot of people that weren't even rappers because of the fact that you might have been from the East Coast or whatever the case may be, got killed behind this whole beef or whatnot.
Unnecessary.
But, you know, but musically speaking, this is probably one of the most deadliest songs.
Oh my God, he was mad. You see, we had to completely bleep out. You couldn't even hear a lot of it because he went off. He was mad. Yeah.
But definitely a staple in the hip hop culture. We don't have Biggie and Tupac on our lineup because I guess we feel like they stand by them. They speak for themselves, you know, every their contribution. But if you're talking about beefs is concerned, man, this particular song, the one with Tupac, and I had no idea that that Get Money song with the Junior Mafia was kind of like taking jabs at people like that. Needless to say, hey, we're thankful for both of them, but we hate that things happen.
Ended the way it did.
Yeah.
But my thing is, usually when, like, for instance, MC Shan and KRS-One, Roxanne Shante dissing Queen Latifah and everybody, that didn't end in bloodshed. So what was the difference here?
Well, look at who was around Tupac at that time. That was when he was pulled into the death row camp, and you know who was head of that. And there was a lot of negativity around that individual. So, and he probably was venting because of that situation too, because he probably realized that wasn't ideal for him as well. And he was sold his soul to the devil in the sense to get out of jail, you know, whatever the situation.
Because originally I had changes because Tupac wasn't really like that at first. He was all about positivity, kind of like a KRS-One at first, trying to educate people. But a lot of people don't really know that because all they know is when he started having this beef, got on death row and had this beef with Biggie, and all they know is the violent side of him, which he had another side, but he just dipped into this other side of him and just couldn't get out.
Right. It was literally a tale of two Tupacs. I mean,
if you listen to changes, he was talking about changes in the community and things that he wanted to do in the community. And it's completely different than what I just played.
So that's the thing that the issue I had with Tupac. Powerful voice, powerful pen. And when he did these positive songs, it was impactful. But when he went to the left, I had to tune them out. I had to tune all of that.
But the radio stations, which one did they play more?
Yeah,
they played more of the other
controversial.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just something to think about.
Yeah. What's next, Kim?
Next up, Gangstar, Mass Appeal.
Oh yes, I'm greater than all MCs. When I breeze, give me room, please. I be like fascinating when I be updating, cutting off whack kids, pulling their trump cards. I thump hard and make them say that I'm God. Be pretending they're hardcore. Never know the meaning of. But I get props like a slogan, and no man could ever try to diss when I kicks my jam. Lyrically deaf and connecting, complete mic record. No double checking, vocals kill like weapons. But if I have to, I go all out with no mic. Yeah, that's right, cause I survive mad fights. And for my peeps, I truly care. Cause without some of them, I wouldn't be here. And they all know how I feel. The suckers be like playing themselves to have mass appeal.
Yes, indeed. Mass Appeal.
Another nice one.
Mass Appeal is a song by American hip hop group Gangstar, and it's from their album Hard to Earn. The song reached number 67 on the Billboard Hot 100 and number 42 on the Billboard R&B chart. According to DJ Premier, Mass Appeal was recorded to poke fun at radio when it came to hip hop music. He states that it was recorded as a joke. They just wanted to make fun of the radio on what it sounded like to get airplay. That's why he made the background melody real simplistic. He was making fun of the radio, but he was going to make a funky version of making fun of it. So everything's a vision, and your brain, according to him, has to be that intense to be able to capture that. What the radio played when it came to hip hop, it sounded too watered down. That was making fun of it. Making that record did real good for them, as you saw. As you mentioned, they did crack the top 100 on the Hot 100. I'm sorry, and as well as the hip hop R&B charts. What do you all have to say about Mass Appeal?
Didn't we just talk about that? they were just talking about what I just said, that pretty much pushing certain music. So even if, like we also talked about last week, you could have the best lyricist, the best music, best producer, but if it's not what these record companies, these radio stations are looking for, you're not getting played.
Yeah. I really think Guru and DJ Premier were like peanut butter and jelly.
They were.
DJ Premier just made like the perfect beats for Guru to kind of lay his lyrics on. And then now listen back to the production of Mass Appeal. I could see what DJ Premier was saying, because it kind of like pushing the mindset of people, somebody roller skating, like a roller skating type vibe. Something that a lot of radio stations were playing back then. So I can see where he was coming from with that. Like a lot of the music was being watered down, but at the same time, he had success off of it. He was very successful. And so again, I almost had to fight back a couple of tears because I just can't believe that Guru's not with us anymore. He really should be here right now. He really should. To me, he should. But however, I love this track by Gangstar. Matter of fact, I love all of Gangstar's music.
Yeah.
Yep, Guru's music, Gangstar's music. But we also have to remember during that time that was still in the thick of the censorship laws. Remember that was heavily pushed. Tipper Gore, I think, was instrumental on pushing that. You remember the 2 Live Crew? They were the first to be able to get censored.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I think it's watered down as they seemed or were, I should say.
Yeah. What's next, Kel?
Absolutely. Next up, Fat Boys. The Fat Boys are back.
And you know you'll never be right. Fat Boys are out.
So DJ Doc, the ox that rock, but known to you as a human beatbox. Since you're ready and willing to rock the place, move your body and big that face. Top the charts, and you will not stop, cause you're the one and only DJ Doc. Since you can rock and you're in the place, please homeboy drop all the bass.
Yep. That was the Fat Boys, but the Fat Boys are back. Fat Boys consisted of members Prince, Marky D, Cool Rock Ski, and Buff Love, two of which are now deceased. However, the Fat Boys had great success back in the days. This is one of their hits. Their title, their album, The Fat Boys Are Back, did very well as well. This particular track peaked at number 27 on the U.S. Hot R&B Hip Hop Singles and Tracks. The album itself peaked at number 11 on the top hip hop and R&B tracks, and number 63 on the U.S. Billboard 200. What can you say about the Fat Boys? You know, one of the another pioneer groups of the 80s. They had a lot of success. They had a movie to come out. They just did a lot of great things for hip hop. But like I said, it's unfortunate that two of them are not here right now. But nevertheless, their mark was made in our culture. What do you guys say?
Absolutely. You have to give props to the Fat Boys. They weren't the typical looking rappers that were coming out at the time. And like you had said earlier about Curtis Blow, their music was kind of the fun-loving music also. Yeah. And we talked a little bit about the Human Beatbox and him and the original Beatbox, Dougie Fresh. But that's just to say that I believe the Human Beatbox, he was just influenced by Dougie Fresh. I'm not necessarily trying to bite off of him, but it does kind of sound.
Yeah, the beatbox sounds are completely different.
Exactly.
I would say with the Fat Boys, I kind of saw them honestly as like kind of slapstickish. However, with the beatbox and their flow, it just kept them more relevant to the craft. But it was, I hate to use that word, so I won't even say it, but they were just kind of slapstickish, and they kind of played to stereotypes of people who were overweight and that type of thing, and that was a bit much to deal with, but they had great music.
And also, I think the reason their record company even put them together is because they would be easier to market on the other side because they weren't as abrasive, I'm thinking, and they would be more marketable, and the pop side could swallow them a little bit.
They seemed safe. They were safe.
They were safe. That's the word. They were safe. Mm-hmm.
Byron, I'm curious to know, what do you mean by slapstickish?
Buffoonery. To say to this.
Oh, okay.
Buffoonery. That's why I don't like to use that word, but I just always saw it that way. They really played that up, and I wouldn't say they relied on it because they had talent, they had the flow, and so I can't say that they relied on that, but that was pushed to the forefront before their talent to me.
So kind of like court gestures or something. I know this is kind of like a medieval term, but like a something along that line.
Something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. They were the gestures of hip hop. How about that?
I don't want to say that. They definitely have their space in hip hop, and they were very talented. But like I was saying, once record companies saw that they could push them to be more marketable to certain other genres or certain other people, they used that buffoonery or that court gesture type of act to get airplay and make movies and market them that way, and they were successful in doing that.
How do you describe it? It worked for them.
It did work.
It worked. What's next, Kim?
Next up, Chop Rock. Treat him right.
Chop Rock, yeah.
Kids in the cribs want dibs on the big man. Can he come out? Can he come out and slam a jam? I'm his #1 fan, yes I am. All these kids realize that I'm the man. 6'3" and maybe a quarter an inch bigger than last year, but still a unique figure. Rob Springer, Doc, no Dinky, and Hot Dog know that I'm a man that was born to have a mic on next to me at all times, ready to kick a rhyme that'll get me out of financial bind. That's why when it comes to fans, I'm never mean. Kids on St. James between Gates and Green always says hello, cause I'm a modest fellow. Never try to play a superstar that's mellow, cause if these kids don't go buy our records, we'll be has-beens and plus naked. So we owe them, so pull out your pen, sign an autograph, you might make a new friend. So just get your boys to bring the noise and just swing it. Now party people in the house sing it. Party people in the house, listen up.
If that is not a party starter, I don't know what to say.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Wow. And the man rips it up.
Chubb Rock just had it, you know, and he didn't use his weight to overshadow his talent. I'll just say that.
In a comical way.
In a comical way. I mean, it may have been in a
people.
name, but he didn't present himself like that. Hey, but anyway, I'll just say this. Treat 'Em Right is the 1991 release song by rapper Chubb Rock, who we're talking about. And this song actually samples There Was a Time by D. Felice Trio and Love Thing by First Choice. That's very prevalent throughout the song. The song was originally released on the Treat 'Em Right EP, released in late 1990, which charted at number 73 on the Billboard 200 and number 22 on the R&B albums chart. The song was then included on the Chubb Rock album, The One, that's his debut, and then was released as the album's lead single, becoming a transatlantic hit, charting at number 67 on the UK's chart and number 95 on the Billboard Hot 100. Number 33 on the R&B hip hop singles chart, number 32 on the dance music play singles, number 11 on the Hot Dance Music Magazine singles, and number 1 on the Hot Rap singles, where it spent 3 weeks at the top of the chart in March of 1991 and was the first of 4 number ones on that chart, ending up at the top of the year-end Hot Rap Singles Countdown chart. In addition, the song was voted at number 82 on VH1's 100 Greatest Hip Hop Songs. What do you all have to say about this one?
How can you go wrong with Chubb Rock? He is another our hip hop pioneers that we definitely need to give flowers to. Because like you said, him and Heavy D, who we have not had on here yet, did not have exactly that we
say the best for last.
Exactly. But they, like you said, they didn't have to market themselves. And I think what happened is they saw how the Fat Boys marketed themselves as the comical big person to market themselves, but they put the bigness in their names, but they didn't have to use that. They just used their artistry to put them out there, and giving props to definitely Chubb Rock and Heavy D made Heavy D
B.I.G.
Yeah.
And Biggie. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
Biggie didn't have to do that.
And Pun, Fat Joe.
Fat Joe.
Pun,
Yeah.
Fat
Big
Joe.
Pun.
Yeah.
There's a way of doing it without all of that extra stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We see you.
For the Chubster, man, The One, man, I remember that album. I remember my cousin, God bless her dad, cousin Chris, recording that whole album on a white cassette tape for me to take back to Blakely with me. Man, I listened to it over and over and over and over again. That was one of the hardest albums I had ever heard in my life. I loved every track of The One. And we talked about Kool Moe Dee early in the program about his delivery and how hard it was. Chubb Rock was just as similar with his delivery, man. It was unmatched. You couldn't duplicate it. He was just, you could hear that little bit of Jamaican twang in his voice, and it just made it that much harder, man. I love Chubb Rock. I think now he's the DJ on one of those stations in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken. And man, oh man, The One was one of the greatest albums of all time. I'm glad VH1 recognized this particular song as one of the greatest of all time.
Yes, indeed.
Absolutely.
He's not really chubby. He's not really chubby anymore.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
He's just rock.
So next up is our last song.
All right.
And it's Busta Rhymes. Put your hands where my eyes can see.
Check it out. Hit you with no delay into what you saying, yo. Silly with your ice, grilly with the dilly, yo. When I be on the mic, yes, I do my duty, yo. While up in the club like we while in the studio. You know when to violate, baby, really and truly, yo. My main thug, villain ain't Julio, he moody, yo. Type of brother that'll slap you with the tulio. Real shook, scared to death, act fruity, yo. X that, looking shorty, she a little cutie, yo. The way she shake it make me wanna get all in the booty, yo. Mistress of the banging misses and videos. While I'm with my freak like we up in the freak shows. Hit you with the shit, make you feel it all in your toes. Hot shh, got all my people in red clothes. Styling my metaphors when I formulate my flows. If you don't know, you're messing with lyrical player pros like that. You wanna party with me? Let me see just what you got for me. Put all your hands where my eyes can see. Straight buck wildin' in the place to be. If you really wanna party with me, let me see just what
Big bucks, ballad in the place to be. If you really wanna party with me.
Now, how we going to have the 50th anniversary of hip hop without our boy Busta freaking Rhymes? Put Your Hands Where My Eyes Could See is a song by Busta Bus. It was released as the lead single from his second studio album, When Disaster Strikes, on August 12, 1997, by Flip Mode Entertainment and Elektra Records. The song was written by Rhymes and its main producers, Shamello and Buddha.
I'm still bopping.
I know,
Yeah.
right? I know.
Hey, Kim, I got to commend you for this one because I knew Busta needed to be on our countdown, but it was just such a plethora of hits. I just didn't know where to start. And so I commend you for taking on that challenge and picking one song, for Busta, because I couldn't do it.
This one put him on the map.
It's hard.
This one
It's
start from the
hard.
beginning. Start from the beginning as she did. Just put him on the map.
Exactly, because I could have did Leaders of the New School
Mhm.
and started with some scenario, because that's what I wanted to do. But I was thinking to myself, there were so many parts of scenario that was so banger. We only had time to do just one part, and it just wouldn't have been right. So I did this. And thank you for giving me my props, because I know what I be doing, Marcus.
Yeah, but Busta Rhymes, man. Let me ask you guys a question. Do y'all like Busta Rhymes, or the kind of like the past Cavassier mellow Busta Rhymes better?
I like that.
I love all of them. I love all of it. I just love Busta Bus. And like we talked about before, it's called growth. When he came out, he was like, "Rod, look at me. You need to know who I is." And then he was able, once you knew who he was able to calm his butt down a little bit. And that's part of growth.
But his calm is not necessarily calm.
Exactly. He's still gonna bust you
because
over
I like
head.
that fast flow, and you have to really stop and decipher each word he's saying, because now he raps so fast.
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
Yeah,
and it's not no llama ding dong.
it's
Neither.
actual
He's
words.
actually saying words.
He's actually saying something. That Chris Brown, that verse that he had, "Look at Me Now."
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. That was crazy. That's crazy. He just took over the song.
Yeah.
He took it over.
Yeah, it was Busta's song.
That was Busta's song.
I don't even know any words to that song that Chris Brown sang. I don't. I'm sorry. But needless to say, Busta Bus is a centerpiece, and I'm glad that BET took the time out to honor him during the hip hop, the BET Awards this year. And that set that he did was fire, to say the least. So, hey, big up to Busta Rhymes. And like Kim said, Kim said, we've come down to the end of our episode. We want to thank everyone for joining us as we celebrate hip hop the We Got the Good Experience way. So many songs to dig through, and I know we really, truth be told, we still really did touch the surface. But however, these were our picks. This is what we felt were the songs that really touched us, that inspired us. So this is what we gave you, and maybe one day we'll revisit this again at some point. However, right now we're gonna leave it at that. I want to say thank you guys for tuning in. We want you to continue to follow us on Facebook at the We've Got the Good Experience on Facebook and Instagram. Also, for those in the Bangladesh, Georgia area, listen to us on 92.7 WKLD on Saturdays at 1 p.m.
And we are now on YouTube also. We are on YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel.
Yes. The We've Got the Good Experience YouTube channel. Go check it out. Like, subscribe, and share. And again, share your good experience with us. So again, for myself,
tell a friend.
Any parting words, guys?
We love you, good family. We'll see you next time.
Thank you for rocking with us. See you next time. Peace.
Good.